everybody for this new format, so a career in luxury webinar. And today I have the pleasure to greet at the very beginning three alumni. So Alexandra Baluca from the Master in Luxury Marketing, Angelica Pontiggia and David Kratz from the Master in Luxury Management from two different editions. So each one of them will explain what they do, what they did, and what they do, and then how they make the transition from school to the real world of jobs. So let me start with if I can, voila. To introduce myself, I'm the program director of the Master in Luxury Management. Since I'm working at IUM since 2008, and then I was appointed as program director from 2010. So 12 years of experience before joining IUM. Apparently 12 is my magic year, because actually today I'm also this year I'm also celebrating 12 years in IUM. So 12 years in HR before joining IUM, working from different perspectives. And actually I have to say that thanks to this previous experience, I was able to join the dream team of IUM, and then working specifically on the career for luxury people, and then taking the lead of the program as well. Because actually out of these 12 years, 5 were dedicated to luxury. Today I'm representing also my dear colleague, Marjorie Berchy, who is the program director of the Master of Science in Marketing in Luxury. Actually, she has joined IUM in 2014, and then she has a huge experience in project management, luxury, and education. She lived in 7 countries, in 6 to 7 countries, and so she had really the opportunity to work closely with luxury companies. So these two programs are very complementary, because actually these two programs, sorry, just a sec. These two programs are not cannibalizing each other, because brand management is a more, I have to say, you think about a luxury company, and then you cut into small pieces, and then you will be able to analyze all departments. While the Master in Marketing, Master in Luxury Marketing is different, because it's a disciplinary program. So students are eating branded marketing since the day 0. So there are no managerial related courses, but it's purely dedicated to marketing, as actually then that the students will explain. So here we are. So today we have 3 guests. So David, Angelica, and Alexandra. Do you want to very shortly introduce yourself, guys? So,
of course, I would say ladies first.
Okay, let me, voila. Okay. Ladies?
Angelica, I can go.
Yeah.
Angelica, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
Good.
Okay, I'll start. Hi, everyone. I'm Angelica. I'm Italian. And currently I'm in Italy, while now I'm based in New York. But since you all know what's happening in New York, now I'm back home just for this weird period. But I would tell you more about myself in a while.
Okay, and today you're working so in New York, in Pomellato, so you are in the jewelry business. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Alexandra? Yeah.
Yes.
Alexandra?
So, I'm French and Israeli. I'm working now from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I'm in the digital marketing sector, not specializing in luxury, but more marketing. As Annalisa said earlier, we were really focused in marketing, so that's the path I chose, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm going to elaborate on that later.
Okay, thank you. David?
Yeah, my name is David. I've done my bachelor's and my master's at IUM. I'm German and Italian, even though I don't sound Italian whatsoever. I don't speak Italian, but you know, it still looks and sounds good. And I'm currently the director of our private jet branch, so full on luxury in Germany. So I'm controlling the German and Austrian private jet market for my company, and yeah. But I obviously tell you a bit more in detail later on.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. So actually, what is happening to our students when they leave our program? So most of our students and luxury students are, as you can see, hired in the hospitality, leisure, and fashion watch industry, because I would say because actually most of the students are joining IUM because of a specific industry interest in these industries, or because during the year with us they fall in love for these two fields. I also would like to say that actually maybe because we have the specialization in hospitality and leisure, and then fashion and accessories, so it is also easier to make the transition from school to job. But actually, these two industries are not welcoming all of our students, because actually then they leave how can I say, they can go in many other industries, so, or because they have a natural passion. So since the day they are joined at the program, they knew what they wanted to do, or because during the year, talking with the other students, talking with our professors, talking with professionals, during the career opportunities we offer, guests that are coming. So for many reasons, students then can think differently, and then by curiosity, they can start doing something else. You have also to understand that these figures may change every year, because actually these are statistics that are taking into consideration what our alumni are doing. So actually, Angelica is a clear example, as she will explain you later, because she started in one industry. Actually, she moved from the hospitality, and then now she's working in the jewelry business. Actually, so every year these statistics may be different. In terms of professional status, this represents actually what students, what people are doing. So alumni are doing. Allora, I have, of course, the majority is working, so they are employees. Some alumni are going ahead with their studies. I received very often requests for letter of recommendations for example, MBA programs somewhere else, or PhD studies. So actually, some alumni prefer to go back to school, most probably, because they want to get higher level of education. Some others are setting up their own companies. Actually, there are several people who are joining IUM because they want to open their own company, because they want to, they want to continue maybe an entrepreneurial adventure, following what maybe the family was already doing, or because they want to set up their own idea, their own company. And then we support them. Some other are a freelancer, so actually, especially in communication and journalism. So this is, or in consultancy. So this is what this 3% represents. And then some others are, this is usually represents the youngest alumni, actually, the ones that are making a transition from after the first internship or the first job, and then they are looking for something else, or simply because they, during their career path, they decide to change. So this is why they can be in the looking for a job status. In terms of geographical area, year after year, we have seen an increase in people willing to stay in Monaco. this is especially because we have a larger number of fresh, I cannot say graduate, actually students who are just leaving the program and then who wants to stay. So they do their internship in Monaco, in the Principality. Because, for example, the hospitality business, the event business, and the yachting business is requesting more and more interns. So this is why the numbers are increasing, but also because after several years of other experiences elsewhere, it is interesting to see past students coming back to Monaco because they miss the environment, they miss the environment of the French Riviera and then the Principality, and they were always happy when they come back. If not, you can see there the other very important region is Western Europe, because actually Western Europe is the biggest area where our students actually are coming from. So it is logic that if they are going back home, voila, then they stay in the same region. And then, as you can see, there are few numbers from Asia, and little numbers from Asia and then North America, because actually these are not the biggest areas where we are recruiting our students from. So this is just to give you some numbers. In terms of salary range, even if I can tell you that they're not that representative, because they students usually don't like to reveal their salaries. So sometimes they put some statistics and it's not that real. Also because you need to consider that our students are going wherever in the world. So actually every country may be different. So these statistics are here available for you, but if you want to really know how much you can earn, maybe we can discuss individually, because it is very important to understand where do you want to go. And maybe actually our alumni can also give you some ideas about it. In terms of positions, allora, where brand management students are typically going, they take positions such as product or brand management. So especially if they work in champagne, cosmetic, watches, so they're working very closely to the product. This is what product and brand management positions are about. Many of them are working in communication, so PR, advertising, events, because actually events enter into the communication family. E-commerce is a booming department. So actually more and more companies are recruiting our students to join the e-commerce division as part of the distribution division. And the other very big part of the positions are offered in sales. And actually we can also, here we have two students who are actually supporting the commercial department, so David and Angelica, so they will give you more details about it. And then, as I mentioned, of course, entrepreneurship, because several students are willing to set up their own companies. About fashion accessories, so here we have categories such as fashion accessories, watches, and jewelry. So this is what we consider as part of this specialization. The majority of our students are working in retail management. When students leave, we always suggest to start with a retail experience. It is not a B-level experience, because actually this is where everything happens. So when students start their career just with the internship for 4 months, 6 months in shops, sometimes they fall in love for the department. So, and this is why then they stay in retail management. And then year after year, they get very high position, because actually retail management is the position that is giving the biggest visibility in terms of career opportunity, but also in terms of salary. And this is overall real for any commercial job opportunity. Luxury distribution, in this case, we are talking about, for fashion, we're talking about anything that is not considered retail, so such as working in trade marketing, in in wholesale, for distributor, for e-commerce, even in this case, and franchising. So we have students that are working in different departments, in another part of the distribution chain. Many students are working with the product. So, and then I have to say that the majority of my students who are joining the fashion and the fashion program specialization are willing to work with the product. And then what we call the product or brand management for other product categories in fashion, this position is called merchandising. And I have several merchandising students working in the merchandising department. The other very interesting department is retail buying. Actually, these are the people who are buying the products for their own stores. For actually, I'm the retail buyer for Prada. So it means that I'm buying the product that is put on the market for my stores in a given territory. This is something that also many students appreciate, that is in between the product, the merchandising, and the distribution. So it's a super interesting position. Then, of course, we have marketing. And then in this case, we can consider many different positions. So communication, and then so the CRM. So there are many positions in marketing as well. About hospitality, we have students who are working at the top of the possible position. So as a general manager or hotel director, of course, it happens after years of experience. But if not, actually, as you can see, you can find our alumni working in any possible department of the hospitality business. Food and beverage, operations, the sales and marketing, events, it usually is part of sales and marketing, revenue manager, so the financial department, HR and training, and also as a supplier, so actually they can work in project management and construction management for the hospitality business. These are just some examples, but actually, of course, I've treated the career of almost 800 students in 12 years of career at IUM. So actually, you can imagine that can be really literally everywhere. And here you can find also some of the big brands actually where students are working at the moment. About marketing, actually, some marketing students are willing to join our program because or they want to work in an agency or in the digital in the marketing department of digital marketing, department for a company, but also because they want to set up their own company. So or in consultancy, market consultancy, or in digital marketing consultancy. So this is why we have students, past students or alumni working with as employees or as a self-employed. The salary range. So this is something that you can I explained a bit before, and then so actually here you can see that students can work in those if when they're working for companies. Actually, they can join any kind of business because the digital marketing position nowadays is present in any kind of industry, luxury industry. But not only because actually as soon as students are entering into the real market, they can even look for something else. Actually, this is what happened to Alexandra, who is not working in luxury anymore because actually her competencies are more than welcome also in other industries. In terms of placement, actually, you can see most of them are staying in Monaco, especially the ones who want to set up their own companies, but then they go everywhere. So voila, this is the list of possible positions you can get after the marketing master. So you can become a brand manager, but you can work in sales, of course, anything that is closer to digital campaigns or digital positions, or more generally as a marketing manager. And these are once again some companies where actually our past students are working at the moment. So I would like now to give the word. I have some questions for our guests. So voilà, I call you on stage. And so if you can explain how it was your transition from school to where you are now, because actually the question is, where are you working now? But what position, what company? Up to you guys.
Okay, can I start?
Of course, Angelica.
Okay, so I graduated in 2015 at IUM after a master in luxury management. Within my specialization was events hospitality, and I had a pretty diverse and colorful path. Now I'm based in New York. I work for Pomelato, that is a jewelry company that is part of the Kering Group. But to arrive here, I really tried different companies, different industries and departments. Right after my graduation, I did my first internship in a hotel, in a luxury hotel. That's why actually I did my studies in Monaco, because I was really curious about the hotel industry and I wanted to give it a try. So I did my first internship at Hotel Villa d'Este. Is a luxury hotel on Lake Como, and it is still considered one of the 10 best hotels in the world. So it was an amazing experience. I work in the PR and marketing department. So I was working with the PR manager, and our job was about to handle the image of the hotel. And it was so interesting because instead of spreading the news, we were more about limiting the news. So our job was to control the image. Since the guests of the hotel are like exceptional VIPs and super rich people, we couldn't say too much about the hotel. So that was a super interesting communication job. After 6 months there, I was not that sure about the hotel industry. So I was grateful about the experience, but I wanted to try another industry. So then I moved to Paris and I did my internship in the fashion industry at Alexander Wang, an American company, a fashion American company. And I worked there in the sales department. I was doing the back office for the sales manager that was in charge of the Italian market. So it was more really backup office, and I was dealing with thousands of different requests from more oriented, of course, on the customer service, but also on technical questions, payment stuff. So really, really different requests. And also I had to enjoy the fashion weeks in Paris that I would never forget, because like that's the real fashion world that you would dream of. So, but after that, I moved back to Milano and I did another internship. So my third internship in Pomelato. I entered in Pomelato and I was working in the product merchandising department. So, and I spent in that department like 1 year, and I was doing product analysis, pricing and competitors analysis. So my day-to-day job was based on Excel. And so it was really interesting from another point of view, because I got to know the collection and the values, and of course the industry, because I had to know everything about the offer of every single competitors. So after 1 year as in the merchandising office, I got the chance to move to the events department, still in Milano for Pomelato. And then I spent 2 years there. And so another complete job still for the same company, of course, but more practical and less theoretical. And I started to travel. I literally traveled all over the world with the company. I managed to organize events from Tokyo to Dubai to Zurich to New York, so everywhere. And I really loved the job and enjoyed my team, and I was really loved also with my manager. And the experience was great, but after a while you feel that you need a change, because, you know, I was in the same company, and so I asked for a change, and thankfully the company has different branches around the world. So they send me in New York. So I still work for the same company, but for the American market. And now I'm the trade marketing coordinator. So it means that I'm working in the marketing department here, and it's a small office because this market compared to Europe for us is smaller. So that's allow me to see like thousands of things. So I'm deal with CRM, events, of course, or everything that deals with digital, and of course all the trade marketing stuff. So everything related to with the B2B. So I work as a support function for our stores and also for our wholesale network. And of course, I deal also still with events. They are different kind of events, so more commercial, less oriented to the brand image, but still events. So that's it. I'm in New York since October, and so not the perfect timing now to be in New York, but I'm really happy of my path, of my different areas that I managed to discover.
Thank you, Angelica. So who's next? Alexandra, do you want to start?
Yes, sure. So hello everyone. I'm gonna relate to the marketing program, because that's what I studied. So I graduated last year in 2019 in Master of Marketing of Luxury. And actually, right after we finished in June last year, I got a full-time job position in Tel Aviv as a content manager. The name of the company is Natural Intelligence. It's a high-tech company that combines digital marketing and also intent marketing. When we say digital marketing, it's really broad, and if I can add also to Annalisa's a PowerPoint, when we speak about marketing in the real market, not in the university, it's really broad, and there's a lot of things you can do. And I think what helped me at UIUM, especially, it was the different courses that we had. And so from the courses that you get, that you maybe enjoy some more than others, and then you can define what aspect of marketing you prefer the best. So for me, it was understanding the user funnel. I don't know if you already got the course with Professor James Mathewson, but it really opened me to the understanding the user funnel and how a user online interacts with the brand, with the website, with anything that has to do with digital. And it was really interesting because when I started the interviews for the company, I felt really confident with the experience I had at LUM of understanding how it works and how I can be an asset for the company and to propose my services. So I'm managing all the websites in Europe. So of course they have a French market, Italy, Spain. I'm not going to list every country in Europe, but anyway, so you understand. This company operates comparison sites in different sectors. Let's say if I take an example, online dating, it's consumer services, nothing to do with luxury, but still it's a big market with a lot of money. So we basically compare different partners that provide dating services in different countries. So in France would be Mythique and Dix Ans Demain and many others. So we have to list them for every country. In Italy also we adapt it. And we manage the content on these different sites to make it more attractive for the users. What does that mean? If you already studied about A/B testing, that's exactly what we do and what the company specializes in. Just testing 2 different versions of a site and one aspect at a time, because we want to be statistical and be significant when we do a test. And basically you just define which version succeeded best in terms of CPC, CTR, and conversion rates, what made most money, not only for us as a company, but also for our clients, which are, in this sense, let's say, mythique ou disons demain. And basically, we implement, there's a process of implementation of a successful version. And that's really interactive because, you know, I was thinking about the French market. Okay, I'm sure that French people will like this image better than this image. The blonde is going to win on the brunette, but not for sure. And what's interesting in this field is to see that you think you know something. You think that the image that you put in the banner of your site is going to be successful, and at the end you see on the A/B test that you know, when you have about 10,000 visits for each version, you see that the conversion rate was higher for one of the versions, and it's significantly better. And then you implement, and the company makes money, and also our clients are satisfied because we send successful leads, powerful leads that convert. So it's a big subject. I'm really passionate about it. And those who are really interested in this are welcome to contact me if they want to know a bit more in this subject. And yeah, I'm really happy with that right now. Of course, I'm always aspiring to develop in the company, and they have a lot of opportunities to grow and to you know, or even change departments in the product management. But in terms of marketing, yeah, that's mostly content management. And also, if, I would like to add something interesting, is that as part of this position, I also kind of helped other of my friends, of my mates, in the master to add a job as a freelancer for translations in different languages. So we had in Italian and Spanish. So we are always looking for freelancers that are good with content, good with translation, good with content writing that is appealing. So of course, you're welcome to contact me. I will leave my contact below after that, if anyone is interested.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. So I discovered what you do because actually I'm less in contact with you than the others. Thank you. David.
All right. Well, thanks to the ladies, first of all, because that was a proper company presentation that they had. I'm not sure if I'm that well prepared, but yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name is David. I graduated 2015, I believe. Yeah, 2015 with my bachelor, and 2016 with my master's in luxury management, goods and services. And back then in February, I already had a job. I'm now, as I said, the director for my company for the private jet branch in Germany and Austria, as well as Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, all those small places. But the main ones are definitely Germany and Austria. Yeah, working in the company now for should be 4 years in 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, and work my way up. Start as a trainee. It's technically about selling private jets. Sometimes the day is a bit more boring than others, but as you can imagine, a private jet is now going through the luxury studies and stuff. I would definitely sign off today that flying private is the ultimate luxury. I mean, yes, there are boats, there are big boats, but the luxury, like a private jet, is, personally speaking, everything I've seen from watches to boats is personally the ultimate luxury, because the money that people spend for, whether it's for business, for private, for family, for their dogs, for their cleaning ladies, it's unreal. And they do trips around the world. And I mean, the past few weeks or months now with Corona have been extremely interesting, actually, because many people or many companies in my industry suffered a lot. Whereas the company that I work for, Air Charter Service, actually made the biggest profit in history of the company. Because yeah, less people want to fly commercial, less people had the chance to fly commercial, so more people would have the tendency to jump onto private jets. So I'm dealing mainly with the top-notch guys, so it's CEOs that I'm having on the phone, often also obviously their PAs because they're organizing everything. But when it comes down to private trips of my customers, they always call me personally, because it's obviously they don't want anyone else to know. So it's always very important to be very discreet about all their trips. But yeah, it's an absolute fascinating world. Everything that I could write a book, I think by now, 4 years into the company, write a book about all the stuff that I've experienced, from flying small car parts, literally 2 kilograms of weight all over the world in the middle of the night, flying a dog once around the entire world just because the owner wanted to have the dog. Then the dog didn't have the right vaccinations, so I needed to fly again back to New Zealand. And they spent more than €500,000 just to get the dog to Europe. So yeah, you go through a lot of crazy stuff and absolutely love it. So I can only recommend everyone to work in that industry. I mean, you don't get sleep. You wake up at 7 in the morning and you're like, did I miss any email? What happened last night? So your phone is your best friend. You always walk around with 2 to 3 phones, but it's very rewarding. The feeling of organizing stuff that is even on the news very often, and you work in the ultimate luxury industry segment and you deal with it day in, day out. Obviously, you must have a passion for it, must have a passion for aviation. You must have a passion for selling. Yeah, it's a lot about selling yourself, because people buy from people they like, because the product that I offer, for instance, thousands of other people in the world offer the same thing. It's just they rather buy with me than with someone else, and I need to convince them that they rather buy from me than from someone else.
I'm sure you can do it, David.
Yeah, I do my very best. So yeah, that's a bit of an explanation to me. But the moment you ask me any questions, I can give you a bit more insight. But yeah, that's it.
Actually, I have several of the questions, but actually, I think you have replied to several of them. Actually, can you explain your career path? This is what you perfectly explained. And actually, now I have, what do you love the most in your job? So very quickly, ping, ping, ping. So the best things you love.
I mean, I was just talking, so maybe I just quickly shout it out. It's
okay.
a different excitement. Every day is really different. Many people say it, but in my case, it's really like that.
Okay, thank you. Girls?
Personally, I really like the industry, the jewelry industry, because I like the product and I'm really proud to work for my company. So that sense of belonging that I feel in my job is more, I think, is dictated because I'm really proud of the company and the quality and the craftsmanship behind every jewelry.
Thank you. And Alexandra?
For me, it would be the fact that I can combine technical and creative skills, the analytical part, but also the creative part. That's nice if you have both and you don't want to give away one. It's great to find a position that you can use both. For me, that's what I love the most.
Okay. And how long did it take to find a real job, actually? Because David, you already replied, actually, you didn't even finish the school that you were already hired.
No, for me, it went extremely fast. I was very lucky.
Yeah.
I stressed out a lot back then. I think you still remember, Annalisa, because in my class, it was a lot about competition, actually. So it was
big
about
competition. Yeah.
Yes. So it was all about who gets a job first. So I was actually in a math class or accounting class back then, and I got an email from the company that I work for right now, and they asked me if I would be up for an interview. And I think 3 days later or something, I got it confirmed. So in February 2016, I had my job confirmed for July 2016.
And what is interesting in your case is that before getting this job, from time to time, you were entering in my office saying, I would like maybe to work in fashion. I would like maybe to work in car. I would like to maybe to do this and then to do that. You're really looking for something without having a right direction or a clear passion for something.
I mean, listening to Alexandra and Angelica now, it even sounds so interesting. I can already get passion for it as well. And I could be imagining me looking at LinkedIn later and trying to do something different, maybe.
This is how you are. So, and you girls actually, to find a real job, so a real contract.
Oh, to me, it took me 3 internships. So I finished my classes at the UM in June 2014. And I started and got my real contract in January 2016. So like 3 internships in the middle.
And you, Alexandra?
For me, I should say that I was looking for a job really at the beginning of the master. So I was really actively looking for a job position. And basically 1 month 1 or 2 months, really around the end of the master, I got some interviews. It was a long procedure, but at the end, I got hired really quickly. So it was great to have a full-time position, and if you can go for that and aspire for that at the beginning, it's great.
Because actually, maybe our guests don't know that. So at the end of the 10 months at IUM, so students have to do what we call the Capstone Project. That can be an internship or a thesis, or from this year, an entrepreneur. So you can work on your entrepreneurial business, so your business plan. And but actually, if you are able to secure a job, a contract straight after, is even better. So not because we say that you have to start with an internship, you have to start with an internship. So we want our students apply what they have learned. So if you are able to secure a full contract at the beginning, as it happened to our guests, it is even better for us. So very good point. So aspetta, let me move. How did IUM help you develop your career? If we help you.
Yeah, personally, I would say that, of course, the luxury attitude that I got at IUM, it helped me a lot in every single department I work for, because actually the same luxury client that goes to a 5-star hotel is the same that buys jewels, or it's the same that goes to the fashion show. So that's really important. Like the service attitude that I got there is something that is really part of me now, and in everything that I do now, I really apply what I learned during my studies.
Thank you. What about the others?
I would say, since I didn't continue in the luxury business, I would say that the content of the courses that you get at IUM are really professional. So that would be the first thing that I would say that helped me build my marketing career. But also I was aspiring to find, to do it by yourself and not waiting for the IUM to do it for you. That's always something I would advise you to do, and also don't be afraid of employers asking for a certain period of experience. Because if you got it and you do a great interview and you show your capabilities, don't be scared by the numbers, like we need 2 to 3 years at least experience. Just go for it and show what you're capable of. If you believe in yourself, you will manage to do it. You just have to be, to push yourself. Don't be afraid to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
so Alexandra said something very nice. I think that everyone should keep in mind is that so many companies ask you for a ton of experience, and at the end of the day, they expect you by the age of 20 to have 30 years of experience, open up 3 companies, I don't know, have 5 kids, 2 houses, and there's so many things that they expect from you. It's unrealistic. So just prove yourself by applying for those jobs. Just give it a shot. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that people say no. And that actually goes into how IUM helped me and develop my career, because I always was all about the maximum output for the minimum input. And and at the end of the day, the way Annalisa, her entire team in the masters supported me and developed my skills, be a bit more outgoing. I mean, it got me my job without even actively applying for it. So I can only be super thankful. And it's about, in my luxury masters, it was all about questioning why people do things. Go a bit above and beyond. I mean, it's a luxury market. It's an ultra luxury segment. What do people, they don't do just random decisions. So there's always something behind it. And with the knowledge that I got in my master's, at least, I can analyze that. I understand my customer better than anyone else in my company, I would imagine, simply because of the studies that I had.
Thank you. Thank you for, actually, all of you mentioned interesting different aspects. So on one side, we have the skills, so the knowledge, that is key. And then the other part is more connected to a general attitude to work in this industry, as Angelica mentioned, but also soft skills. Actually, what people are like this, actually, there is the knowledge that is the backbone, but actually also soft skills and a way to interpret your customers is very difficult. So this is to succeed in especially in the luxury business, you need both. So not only the knowledge, but also a certain attitude and then certain managerial and then managerial skills actually that can be applied in different senses. So thank you. Najes, do we have any questions from the audience?
No, not for now. I think there is some other question on the PowerPoint, but I'm asking students if they have questions during the presentation, and for the moment there is nothing.
They should ask them questions. They will get all insights now.
Yeah, actually, this is the best chance to speak with 3 professionals. Actually, with coming out from IUM in three different moments. Because actually, you have also to say that because actually, when David entered IUM in 2014.
At 12, Annalisa.
At 12, my long time ago. Very good. You are so old.
Yes, time flies.
Yeah. And then so the youngest is Alexandra, who have actually you graduated last June, right?
Yes, correct.
So you are the baby, I would say. Actually, and then IUM was has evolved so much. So also thanks to the experience and then also the partnership that we have established with brands where our alumni are working. But this is also another thing because actually, David, can you tell actually last year you came to IUM to hire?
Yes. Yeah, so
students.
It's actually an unbelievable story. It almost sounds a bit like an IUM fairy tale, to be fair. I mean, when I started when I got the job at Air Charter Service, the company I worked for, nobody knew this company. I didn't know it before. I never heard of it before. So I got hired literally a month later. My biggest competitor during my master's got a job at the same company. Then
in Canada.
In Canada. Then I think half a year later or something like that, another girl actually from my master's got a job in Frankfurt at the same company. Then a year later, someone in India. So all of a sudden, I have almost everywhere around the world, I have now friends that I studied with who now work for the same company. And there's just another one that got hired, I think, two months ago, Sarah in Toronto now. I'm not sure. I think she's done a bachelor at IUM. And it's unbelievable because simply someone does a step into a company and people are curious. Okay, what is he doing or she doing there? I'm curious to find out more about it. And then all of a sudden with those recommendations, it's obviously much easier for people to first join the company and you get a perfect insight by someone that you potentially studied with before. So I mean, I think we have now 6 or 7 people all over the world working at my company and that studied at IUM. So absolutely crazy.
And then when you came last year, actually, you wanted to hire Charles, but actually you offered him a position not in the luxury division. Yeah. So this is why in the cargo part, which actually this is also something that we like when partners our alumni are coming back to hire. So this is also what happened is happening every year with Louis Vuitton, because now we have so many people working in Louis Vuitton who are coming back to IUM to hire new students. And so sorry, any question, Najes, guys?
Still no question for the moment.
Okay. Aspetta, no, I have 2. Daphne, good afternoon. So is it possible to apply even during the Master of Science or at the beginning at the moment? What we could highlight the most in order to get an interview or even the job, having in mind that we don't have the degree yet? So who wants to reply? So I would like to start saying that we suggest our students to start looking for a job from February. January, February, because in the first 4 months, you're still trying to understand where you are. What are you doing, and actually what is the best industry for you? And then from January, so you can build on your CV. So then we have workshops about how to write an effective motivation letter, how to use LinkedIn to network, because networking is the most important thing. And then you can start applying. So I would say this is the answer. So you can apply in any moment. But then actually it's a matter of also a matter of chance, I would say. How many CVs you sent, Angelica, before? But you had some network, your own network in Villa d'Este.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
Network counts, right?
Yes, totally. One of my biggest suggestions for people that want to pursue a career is always build your network and talk and open discuss with people with more experience than you. Don't be afraid to write also on LinkedIn to people that work for a company that you may be interested for. It's really, really so precious to have the chance to speak with someone that is directly in contact with the market or with and maybe did the same part that you would like to do. So that's, and network, of course, is key.
Mm-hmm. Network is key. Yes, definitely. So actually we are since a few years now, we are helping our students in developing an effective LinkedIn page, because it's becoming a very important tool. And actually, I remember, David, in your class, Fabio, actually, his colleague had a huge passion for cars. And then one day he decided he wanted to apply for Ferrari. And he started stalking everybody on LinkedIn, literally. So whatever they were doing, even the receptionists, sending messages on LinkedIn, try to get a first connection, a first hand. And then somebody replied from the CRM department, and actually started having a conversation through LinkedIn. And then this is how he got a first informal interview. And then by chance that year, Ferrari was the first time who was coming at IUM to recruit. And then this is how the story, the love story in the car industry for Fabio started. And now he's working in Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So
I think it's actually a very good example that you just used. I mean, LinkedIn nowadays is just so important. I think it's the greatest tool that we have in order to get a job very easily, actually, because all companies are out there, all interesting companies are out there, and you can find literally everyone there. I mean, Fabio, he had nothing on his CV before in order to get into luxury car industry. And unlike, same here, actually, and I always wanted to join the industry, but he was the one taking those steps, and all of a sudden, working for Ferrari, and then now for Lamborghini. So, unbelievable.
Actually, he was working for Venki, so for chocolates before.
Yeah.
This is the only thing he was doing. So he had 0 on his CV.
Yeah.
People are starting.
But I'm sorry, Annalisa, I have a question on the chat, so I don't know if you can see it. It's for David Kratz from Gianmarco. And the question is, did you have any experience in aviation before getting the job?
So Gianmarco, first of all, thank you very much. No, I actually had 0 experience. I just flew a lot. That's it, but I wouldn't call that an experience in aviation. No, I was just always a bit outgoing in my life. I always liked to speak to the big dogs out in the world, and that kind of all got combined. So a salesy personality, a willingness to, jump in the cold water, get to know people, that was enough. And I think the experience and everything that comes with time, I mean, you cannot learn from one day to the other, but it comes with time, and everyone gives you that time. And you just need to have a general interest in the industry, I would say. That would be important because you work a lot.
Yeah, I would say curiosity. Yeah, yes. Curiosity is one of the most important things. Yeah. So there are 3 other questions. Adarsh, I wanted to ask how hard it is to get a job if you are a foreigner on a visa in France. Do companies hesitate in hiring you? This is not that easy, Allora. I think that by name you are from India. Actually, it is not easy to stay in France, but actually we have some opportunities for students who want to join IUM and then who want to stay in Europe. Because now we have or double degrees that can then allow you to get a real student visa, because Monaco is not in Europe. So people coming from abroad are getting a visiting visa. So this is why you cannot do the internship. But doing extending your studies in an IUM, in an insect school or in polydesign in Milan, you can actually stay in Europe. If not, most of our Indian students are, for example, are going to Dubai, because actually in Dubai you don't need any visa. So it's a way to have an international exposure without without being obliged to going back because of visa issues. Voilà. I hope I replied to your question. Then, allora, Dorina is asking, how important do you think professional connections are in building a successful career in the luxury fashion industry? Does IUM have a supportive alumni network? Angelica is one of them, even if now she's in the jewelry business. But actually, yes, we are, as I mentioned before, most of our a big part of our alumni are working in the fashion business, and everywhere in the world, from Hermes to Prada to Louis Vuitton to Fendi to Chanel, wherever. So then, so we can create some connections, but then it's up to the student to use the connection that we can create. So we support our students in finding a job, but we don't find a job for our students. That is different. So we give you the tools, so we put you in contact with brands, with the alumni, but then the job has to be done by you. Anything else? Okay, I had an aspect. These are all answered. Okay, and then what do you think it will be your next step of career, my dear guests?
Ladies.
Who knows? Especially now, it's so hard to tell. I don't know. I would like to stay in the industry, so probably I would move to a bigger company in the jewelry industry. So that could be my next move. Okay, thank you. Alessandra?
Yeah, so I would stay in the product marketing management, but I plan to maybe move to the cybersecurity sector. Has nothing to do with luxury, but it's really, really strong here in Israel. And they're always looking to position their brand. So brand management also goes for high-tech companies. And that's really important when they have to convince customers that they should hire them to protect their systems. So that's what I'm gonna head here in Israel, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And David?
For me, I hope that one day I finally have the courage to open up my own company. I wanted to do it a couple of times already, but yeah, not the highest willingness in certain moments to take risk have stopped me in the past. But God knows, I mean, life is so, that's probably the problem that I'm facing, too many opportunities nowadays. You can come from, I don't know, a makeup artist and suddenly be a race car driver. So there is everything possible nowadays. So, but I still don't give up on the car industry. So maybe one day I will work in the car industry. But for now, I stay in aviation because I love private jets. So
okay,
yeah.
Actually, we are considering to open an executive education in the luxury car industry.
Well, I told my girlfriend already that I like to come back. Just do it all over again.
Yeah. And then actually, what is your best memory from school?
You ask me now.
Everybody.
I don't know. I mean, Annalisa, I consider myself
Except Charlotte. And Charlotte is
yeah,
one.
Exactly. Charlotte is obviously the best. Yeah, obviously I met my girlfriend there. But I mean, I had the honor of being a speaker during the bachelor ceremony. And I think I still talk to Charlotte about it lately. I mean, the only time I got very emotional was during my master's, because again, being on honors list and winning the Spirit Award that was back then sponsored by Blancpain, and giving the speech for the university, that was big time. I mean, that was, if someone would have told me that many years ago that IUM would change me in such a positive way, finding my girlfriend, finding a dream job, then I would have not imagined it, but I would have signed off on that one.
Good. You did it again.
Yeah.
And girls?
I would say my class friends, because I found a really nice group of friends from all over the world, and I love to travel. So now when I travel in every country, I can say, almost every country, I can say I have a very, very good friend. Now that I'm in New York, like already like in 8 months, 6 of them, they pass by and say, oh, when we just had a dinner, that really is so precious. And of course is network, because they are friends, but they are also professional working in
yeah, good point. And actually, so the environment on your class, David, was completely different from the environment in the Angelica's class.
Yeah.
They were one body, completely one. You were a bit more, very competitive, extremely good. So this is why you were fighting. You need to compete and to get the best.
I mean, we had an extremely smart master's group, I would say, but everyone, obviously not literally, but everyone kind of had a knife behind their back, you know, because it was just very competitive, and everyone wanted to win, which is good. It's a good mentality. But honestly, in the hindsight, my best friends still today are all from IUM, and we still have WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, Instagram stuff, and whatever. And even starting TikTok now, even though I don't get it, but you know, all with IUM still. So
going back instead of going forward.
Yeah.
And then Alexandra, your best memory?
Yeah, I agree with Angelica. For me, it was the same. We were only girls in our master, and it was really fun. We were like a small family, and we did a lot of things together. And also the tours that were organized by the IUM. We were in Geneva. We were also in different workshops along the year, and it was a great way to bond together. And as Angelica said, it's also network. So all around the world, wherever they go, you follow them, and you always have contacts for the future.
Yes, definitely. And then I will come back. I will Shreya, then I will answer to your question in 1 second. And actually, just to show you how strong may be the connections, Angelica and I found ourselves in a wedding in Thailand, and actually because we were invited to, so one of the former students, Angelica, got married, and he invited several students from different editions, and so we found all each other in this beautiful spot in the middle of nowhere in Hanoi, a really long time ago. So this is how. To underline the fact that sometimes the connections are so strong that we can become, at least for the 10 months we are together, a little family. Because actually people coming from all over the world, they can count on the students, on the classmates, because their families are living so far. So it is a lifetime experience, I would say. So Shreya, because of the pandemic, the textile industry has been affected a lot. What do you think is the future of this industry? Actually, the industry is recovering step by step, because actually the luxury industry is composed by people who have a huge spending power. And so these customers may change their behavior, maybe temporarily, but actually, if they are rich, they will remain rich. So companies are suffering in the moment because people could not leave their homes. So, but they were buying online. But as soon as they went back, actually they started buying again. So if you consider that in the first week of the confinement, Hermes realized in 1 day, I'm very bad with numbers. They realized in the first day of opening, 7 million, a huge number of sales in 1 day in China, because actually people were willing to go back to spend. So David and Angelica, so you're treating a real certain level of customers. So maybe you can spend 2 words about who they are, what they want, how crazy they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you just said is perfectly right. Whoever is rich, they remain rich because they're smart enough to remain rich. They may lose here a few years and there, but at the end of the day, they still remain rich. And I think the coronavirus period now has pushed, whether you're rich or poor, whoever you are, everyone was pushed to stay at home. So now the rich have the strong feeling and desire to spend it all. Everything that they kind of not spend over the period of time that they would have spent, they now go all in. At least that's what we feel in our industry. So even the people that you would consider still as a high net worth individual, but not a ultra high net worth, they suddenly behave like ultra high net worth because the past 3 months, they were not able to spend anything besides, or maybe a bit online shopping, but for those kind of people, this is peanuts. So yeah, I think the luxury industry is not massively hurt through the crisis, maybe in a very short term, but in the long run, it will easily go back even stronger.
Yeah. Angelica, I know that you have to leave in a few minutes. Do you want to add something?
Oh, no, I mean, what happened, it was so weird and unpredictable. And also anyone knows what is going to happen in next month. So really, of course, thankfully, the luxury clients, they have not been affected too much. But of course, I can tell you, like, for example, for us, it was so weird because, of course, the numbers went down, but it happened that during the lockdown period, we had some incredible sales because we had some clients just calling the store manager asking for a piece of jewelry, because actually anniversary and birthdays are happening even if people are stuck at home. So that's really interesting. It's kind of a market that is not affected so easily, but of course it is as all the world has been.
Thank you so much. Shreya, I think you have some questions, but I don't see it. I don't see them. Maybe you can
no,
ask for your question.
The question was, because of the pandemic, the textile industry has been affected a lot.
This was I replied already. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know it was from her. And I also would like to say something that actually luxury clients, David, you were mentioning something before because of the dog. Actually, there are so crazy stories because in the for example, just to give you another anecdote, here at the Monaco Yacht Club, where there is a private suite that is not for everybody. Is only dedicated to members of the clubs, and actually a certain membership among all members. Okay, so during the Monaco Yacht Show, this suite is the best because actually the beautiful view on the entire port. And so actually there were 2 people who were eligible for this room during that week, because actually the Monaco Yacht Show lasts only 4 days. And actually the Monaco Yacht Club didn't know how to deal with this problem. And so they decided to put these 2 people in contact. And so at the end, the guy who got the first right, and then was called by the other, and then the second one said, tell me whatever you want, I will give you, because I really would like to bring my family there during the Monaco Yacht Show. And actually they talked a lot, and then the second guy proposed, I will give you my private jet, the private jet, you can use my private jet for 1 year to do the tour around the world. And then the first person said, I prefer to keep my suite at the Monaco Yacht Show for 4 days. So this is how they behave. Yeah. So they don't care. So they have money. So these people have money and they will always spend. So even during the 2008 crisis, they were rich. They didn't become poor. Maybe they were differently rich, but actually these people, the kind of customers that we are talking about in class are a bit special, I would say.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So you don't pay a private jet to ship the dog from Monaco. That this is something happened even here, from Monaco to Russia to Moscow, because actually the dad missed the dog. Actually, they rented a private pilot with the just for the dog. This is how it is. Our clients are very special. What we teach, how to deal with these crazy clients that follow different rules, I would say.
Yeah,
they're beautiful for that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? I think so. We have, it's time to leave. So I would like to thank you. If there are no other questions from our participants. So actually, for our participants, you can connect through LinkedIn with our guests. So you can, if you want to have direct questions, of course you can do it, and then you can connect with the entire alumni network, because they're all nice with our prospects. So a big thank you for all of you guys, because Angelica, I know you have to leave because actually you're working with US, so you're still working, and so for us in Europe it's time for an aperitif, and so it's the end of the day. So I give a big kiss to all of you from Tel Aviv to in Frankfurt, you are right,
yes.
David? And then to Switzerland, and then so all the best for your career, and then all the best to our participants so I wish you to have a bright future, as these three great guys are having at the moment.
Thank you very much for having us.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.